Hello, everybody. This is Joe Larson and Chuck Schultz, the 505 on Racing Show. Tonight, Inravio.com.
Time.
Welcome, everybody. This is Joe Larson and Chuck Schultz, the 5-on-5 of Racing Show. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the champions being crowned at Homestead. We got some discussion about the North-South shootout and some disqualification there. Some NASCAR news that we want to share with everybody. And we're going to talk about the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour schedule and a prominent team owner retiring when we come back.
Inravio.com.
Hey, it's all over. Champions are crowned.
It's all over but the tears, baby.
Yeah,
That's it.
The playoff program that they had came down to the Final Four. And I'm not going to say whether or not I agree with the Final Four outcome. And maybe some of our folks who were watching and listening could share with us their thoughts on that. But, you know, a lot of people thought, from what I read in social media and in the news, that it was almost like that outcome was planned.
Oh, no. I knew you would say scripted. All right.
Yeah, scripted.
Every time you say scripted, I'm going to drink.
There you go. Salute to everybody. A nice new Inravio cups. But think about it. If you have a 400-mile race, you have the top 4 guys going for the championship, the cream is going to rise to the top, if you ask me. I don't know how they could have scripted that. You know?
I don't know.
They won 3/4 of the races combined. They're front runners. They're not, you know, guys in the back.
Right. I don't know. I don't know how it could have worked out.
You know.
I mean, how else can you make that happen? Steel cage match? Jump off the top rope? What do you do?
Exactly. And I got some people listening and watching, and you know, it's funny when you deal with that, when you it comes to a play of, you know, when you have the basketball, the Final Four, you know, in basketball in college, that is the cream of the crop. They got all the way to that spot, and you know, the games are going to be close and they're going to be tough and they're going to be competitive, and why should racing be any different? Just my opinion.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know,
I know it's you know, everybody always figures, well, the guy I wanted to win didn't win, or you know, something. So it's got to be, you know,
yes,
it's rigged.
Yeah, it's rigged. It's always rigged, and
it's kind of hard to rig something like that.
It is,
isn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be?
It you know, it's very difficult.
You can do a little favoritism, I'm guessing. You could probably do something, or toss a caution out, you know, whatever, you know what I mean. But how do you rig something like that?
Yeah. I mean, there's certain things you can control, you know, from being on the
Unless you got a sniper up on the roof who's taking out the right front tire on somebody's
exactly.
car. How are you gonna, you know?
It's not gonna happen. That's you know, it's. You know, and I always said, even at the local racetracks, they're doing 30, 40 laps, 50 laps. Things could happen with lap cars and, you know, an accident you get caught up in. But when you're on a track that's that size and going 400 miles, and you got people saying, get out of the way, they're coming, and, you know, it's not your day that day, you're going to get out of the way, because when it's your day, you want them to get out of the way.
Right, sure.
And you don't want to be the guy or gal who cost somebody a championship.
Sure, and that's, you know, I would venture to say, I mean, like any track, but even your local track where they got the, you know, the move over flag, you got the guys coming, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let them race it out, you know? It's one of the things you're going to do.
It is. And it's just what I mean, whether I like this playoff system or not, it's what we have or what they have. And it is what it is, so to speak. I'm just you know, they made a comment, the announcers, they said the regular season point leader won the championship as well. Why did they have to throw that in? I mean, why have a season?
Why have a playoff if that's what's going to happen?
Yeah,
Anyway?
just my opinion on that. But yeah, it just makes me laugh when they say things like that, that it was staged. They wanted Rowdy to win. I don't think NASCAR really cares who wins or not. I think they just want to put a good show on.
Well,
for the
yeah, I
fans.
think he's a character. I wouldn't doubt, you know, they wanted him to win. Why not, you know?
Exactly. And
He's a character. He's one of those guys that's, you know,
he's a character.
whether you hate him or love him, they're doing something, whether they're
Right.
booing or they're cheering, you know, like Earnhardt said. As long as they're making noise, they're engaged, right?
Right. Exactly. But
That's
you know,
really-
if you watch any of the post race, he was so subdued at the end. He wasn't his typical normal. The guy just won a championship, his second, and he was mellow. He was mellow about it.
Hey, yeah, I won the championship.
Yeah. I want to thank my crew. I want to thank the Gibbs.
Boy, I tell you, can't say enough about this car and this crew.
Yeah. Because every other win was he had me-itis. Well, you know, me this, me that, me the, you know, and
There's no shortage of that.
Yeah, unless they had a little meeting during the week.
So this is what you're going to do.
This is what you're gonna say, and this is how you're gonna say it.
Mm.
But you know, congratulations to him. I mean, he earned it. You know, some people still had a little bad taste in their mouth about the one that he missed a third of the races and still got
Oh,
into the
with the
championship.
broken leg?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see a guy have a broken leg, but you bend the rules.
But don't you want the underdog? I mean, come on.
You
Isn't
do.
that, you know, you kind of, you know,
Yeah.
hate him or like him? I don't know him personally, but, you know, do I like to watch him race? I do. Do I like him? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
But, you know,
He puts on a good show, and you know, at the
five,
end of the day-
five laps left to go. You want to see Earnhardt come in for tires and finish second at least, right? It's not a bad thing, you
Not
know.
a
And
bad
this,
thing.
this is the kind of stuff this guy is doing. He's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And you know, he just
he's making you talk around the water cooler on Monday going,
he sure is. And even if you're not into racing, like you said, people are talking about this, about how the underdog is. And it's almost like, even though the big race here is at Daytona, the big race now of the year is the last one, because 4 guys got to finish ahead of each other to be the champion.
right.
Doesn't matter the other 35 races. And
That's it. And you know what? This guy takes the flag and climbs the fence.
Yeah.
You know, that picture is going to be on wherever. Every news show, every magazine, every
Yep.
newspaper, you know.
with his logo all there, and
That's it.
You know, that's-
making money.
lots of positive publicity for the sponsor.
Very good.
You know?
Absolutely.
Whether you like him or not, whether you like the product or not, you know, we've talked about this, all about impressions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many people saw that car, and towards the end, that's all they showed was that car.
That car.
That's big.
It's the rule of 3 when it comes to advertising.
It sure is.
People are not going to make a move until they have heard your name or saw your logo 3 times.
It's right.
You know, and that's one of those things. And marketing at its best. NASCAR's always been top on that list, boy.
Absolutely.
They've always been doing very well. Can't
So
blame that.
anyway.
Can't blame that.
So we had the results out of Homestead, Miami Speedway, a track that was built out of a tragedy from a serious bad hurricane years ago and wiped out all the homes, and now you have a racetrack. That's probably a first where the racetrack was built after the homes. Not that the track was there and the people moved in.
People
But
moved in, and then when they complain, you go, hey, what are you talking
it's so
about?
noisy. Anyway, results at a Homestead. I believe we have the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup first. There we go. Kyle Busch was the winner and ultimate champion. There he is holding up the Champions Trophy. Martin Truex was second. Martin Truex He was second and very disappointed at not winning that race and winning the championship. Eric Jones was third, Kevin Harvick fourth, Joey Logano fifth, Clint Boyer was sixth, Ryan Newman seventh, Austin Dillon eighth, Alex Bowman ninth, and rounding out the top 10, Denny Hamlin. In the Xfinity Series, we have Tyler Reddick was the winner there, followed by Cole Custer, Chase Briscoe third, Noah Gragson fourth, Christopher Bell fifth, John Hunter Nemechek sixth, Austin Cindric seventh, Brandon Jones eighth, Jeb Burton ninth, and Harrison Burton rounding out the top 10. The Gander Outdoor Truck Series looked like this. Austin Hill, the winner there, Matt Crafton second, Christian X third, Ross Chastain fourth, Brett Moffitt fifth, Johnny Sauter was sixth, Grant Enfinger seventh, Todd Gilliland eighth, Sheldon Creed ninth, and Parker Klingerman rounding out the top 10 there. So the Truck Series champion, Matt Crafton, the guy does a nice job with what he does. And I see him having a nice future there. There's their championship hardware. You know, it's funny with these guys, and you know, now that you have 3 top series, when for most of our lives it was 1.
Yeah. There's been some coming and going.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on how you look at it. You know.
Exactly. But it was, it's all good, you know. They're the champion. And it's going between, you know, who's going to be in Cup for a couple races, Xfinity Truck, and going back 4 years ago when it was the Cup and the Busch Series, they called them Bushwhackers. When the Cup guys went down in race.
You always had something. You had the ARCA Series.
Yeah, the ARCA Series, which is merging and, you know, with the K&M Pro Series.
Right. The
So
Busch, you got had the Busch North. You had the Sportsman Division.
Yeah,
there's
there
always
was so many.
There's always something coming and going and happening. You had the South Modified,
Northern
Northern Modified.
Yep, and that was supposed to be to merge the two together. After so many years, when they did merge together, none of the South guys came up north, and they didn't have enough races down south for the Northern guys.
Well, there's definitely ways for the youngins to get up there. That's for sure. I mean,
Yes.
there's plenty of something going on.
Oh yeah,
You know, especially now. I mean, they're pulling them from everywhere. So
they are.
you know,
They are.
you've got the open wheel divisions and so forth. They're pulling them from, you know, some of the
But you
some
know,
of the
it's
dirt cars and stuff. And
it's kind of interesting. I watched the movie last week, and I'll talk about that at the end of the show. But I watched the movie.
Days of Thunder.
No, it's like a new movie, and
I know which one you're talking about.
and what they was saying was that, you know, NASCAR was a regional sport back then in the 60s and the 50s. It was primarily in the South. And a northern guy wasn't going to break in, and a West Coast guy wasn't going to break in until like Jeff Gordon came along. And now it's not a regional thing. It's nationwide. You know, they're racing all over the country. And I guess logistically today you could do that. It was hard to do back then.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't
So
easy.
Jimmy Spencer couldn't get in. They called him a Yankee.
Yeah. That's what they did with a lot of them. They just
He was very upset. I spoke to him for a while. He goes, it's good to see another Yankee down here, he says to me.
Yeah.
He goes, boy, when I got started, they gave him a hard time.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. You were the enemy still. They're still fighting the Civil
yeah.
War, some of those guys.
Yeah, and the
But
Bodines
anyway.
started coming in after that.
Yeah. Northerners could drive race cars. As they're starting to find out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I don't know. Just some news coming out of NASCAR. Matt Tifft in Front Row Motorsports. Matt Tifft, as we all know, was suffering seizures at Martinsville. They agreed to part ways as Tifft needs to focus on his health. So we wish him well with that. You can't be driving race cars and having seizures.
No, not a good thing. Not safe for anybody.
You shouldn't even be driving a street car when you're having seizures.
That's right.
And also some other news. Cole Custer, I think we have some images with him. Cole Custer. He is going to replace Daniel Suarez at Stewart Haas Racing as Cole Custer. In 2020, Custer has been given the opportunity to move to the Cup level. Custer is only 21. He will drive the 41 car. I had the opportunity to speak with him at Dover there we are. Earlier in the season. I'm wearing glasses. I guess my contacts are bothering me. I don't know.
Maybe.
But nice guy. Nice guy. We chatted for a long time. We could do a photo, but we couldn't do audio.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
They got all that sewed up.
Oh, yeah. You know, a guy like me
Oh,
shows
you
up.
dropped down $100,000 orientation fee. Sorry, origination fee, orientation.
Anyway, we're going to take a break. And we come back, we're going to talk about something that happened at the North-South shootout recently down south in Hickory when we come back.
Hey, what's I was going to say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey, Joe and Chuck. This is Harry Weed, longtime Long Island midget racer, currently running with VMR Vintage Midget Racing, congratulating you guys on your 400th episode of 5 Off and 5 On. What a great accomplishment. You guys have kept us informed about racing, both past and present, and doing a great job. Can't wait to see the next 400 plus episodes of 5 Off and 5 On. And don't make any adjustments because you guys are hooked up.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
And we are back.
We are back. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
Good to be back. North-South shootout. Held annually down south. It's a north against the south, like it was in,
There you go.
in the 1760s. Never had the opportunity to attend the North-South shootout. No, I'm a liar. I went once. I was hired as the race director for the event, and they kind of messed up. They had two race directors show up.
Really?
Yeah, me and Dickie Brooks from Thompson Motorsport Park. But anyway, that was all right. We worked it out. Brooksy and I go back a long way, so it was all good. But then it's an exciting race. It's a good race. But however, I'm sure many of you already know this, the driver who crossed the line first at the last week's North-South shootout, Burt Myers, was disqualified.
Really?
Yeah, tires from the top three finishers were taken by PRA Tours, the sanctioning body which promotes the North-South shootout. They took it to a lab for analysis.
Uh-oh. That's never a good thing.
Myers' right rear tire did not meet the benchmark, causing the DQ. There's Burt Myers.
Was it the benchmark because of the softness of the tire?
Something like that, yeah. Now, Burt Myers, I know Burt Myers personally,
Did you call him? Did he give it up? Did you tell him, Bert, tell him what's going on?
and he races full time. That's what he does. He chases races. And I know one of the first times I officiated a modified race at Martinsville, I was sitting in the pace car, buried in a hole off of turn 2. And as a race, you know, You're not shifting. You shift when you start. He'd come off the corner and you'd hear it go into another gear. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Because every other car, the 30 some odd cars are on the racetrack, it was like lift, through the corner, boom, back on it. But Bert's was like a boom, boom, like that. Sounds silly, those noises. And so we talked to our head tech guys, and of course we pulled the rear, made sure the gearing was right, and they pulled the tranny, and it had an extra gear in it. You fessed right up. You caught. You're not going to fight it. You
Sure.
caught.
Got it.
Well, the PRA, North-South Shooter promoter, Renee Hackett, stated Myers is a longtime supporter, and I quote, Myers is a longtime supporter of the event and a two-time winner. It is imperative we provide a level field of competition for all competitors. Myers accepted full responsibility for his actions. In he did a little release on Facebook Live. I kind of have some paraphrase quotes from it. He stated in part, I made a bad decision. There's extreme pressure. There's a picture of Bert over my left shoulder. There's an extreme pressure to win and be successful, so I cracked. As owner and driver, I wanted to accept sole responsibility. He apologized to his family, crew, sponsors, and fans. Now, like I said, I know Bert Myers, and he is a very spiritual and religious man, and he is very helpful to any racer or any human being. And I'm sure if, I asked permission to use this video, and they didn't get back to me in time, but he was humbled. He humbled himself and didn't say, well, I didn't really know about it, we talked about it. He did this. And the pressures to win, like you said, it's a pressure to win and be successful. And yeah, if that's what you do full time for a living, you got to push the envelope a little bit.
You got to pay those bills.
And, there's an old saying in racing, it's not cheating till you get caught.
There's a lot of gray areas, right?
There's a lot of gray, and I'm sure, these things happen. And with the disqualification, Andy Seiss was declared the winner. John McKennedy was second, and Andy Jankowiak was third. Now, we all know social media, how it goes. And people started right away with the guys that cheat, how many wins do you get in other places, that he won, but he was cheating. Other people's like, how could he go to victory lane and raise the flag and rah, 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 rah. And been around racing most of my life. And if you're not pushing the envelope, you're not running up front.
Yeah.
And the guys who do it, they take the rule book and they read it and read it and read it and okay, no, I can't do that, but I could do this.
Oh, yeah, you look between the lines, absolutely.
You're
constantly looking for the edge.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do. Something new comes out, you go right to the rule book.
Yeah, I mean, if there's 30 lines of text in that rule book page, there's really 60.
Yeah, and if it says steel lower bushings, it doesn't say anything about you can't use monoballs.
Right, exactly.
So guess what?
Yeah.
Right?
Like I said, I know Bernie. He's a good guy. And I actually commented, I was going to stay out of the whole big thing. He's a cheating rat, SOB, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, you show me a front runner who's never pushed the envelope.
Maybe far, maybe too far.
Right. Some
Everybody.
get caught, some don't.
don't.
Some it's don't bring it back next time, make it disappear, but
How many flags are raised in victory lane that, they might have skirted the envelope a little bit?
exactly.
Who's got what in a compartment somewhere in the car that's, covered up under the dashboard that nobody can see? That's
I
Come on.
can remember working the World Series at New Smyrna Speedway in Florida. And again, I was with Dickie Brooks, and we're in the office, and it's post-race or whatever, and the late Ted Christopher comes in screaming because he finished second again to Jimmy Blewett. And he goes, what are we going to do about him? We're going to tear him down. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Brooksy goes, tear him down for what? That is cheating. Brooksy goes, come on. You can't say he's cheating. I know he's cheating. So Brooksy goes, how do you know he's cheating? Because I'm cheating and he's beating me. So when you think about those, everybody has a little something. You know,
Well,
you try a little something.
You know, Dennis always said, how fast can you afford to go?
Yeah. The first time I went to buy a race motor, I went to
A motor
Betts.
guy.
I went to McBetts, the original McBetts. And I said, I want to buy a motor. How much? He goes, well, who do you want to go as fast as? I said, what are you talking about? I want a race motor. Well, do you want to beat this one, or this one? I'd like to beat all three of them. Well, this is what he pays, this is what he pays, this is what he pays. So this guy pays the most. So you pay more than him, I'll bid a motor that's better than his. But how do you do that? There's rules. You got this money, you got a better motor than him. And it turned out to be way more money than I wanted to spend. So, you know, these stretching the rules and playing these games and, you know, it's a one race thing, the North Side Showdown. Who would have thought they're going to pull tires and check them and send them to a lab besides?
It's a crapshoot, and that's what
Absolutely.
you do.
Absolutely.
But we all do it. I mean, you know, my first
Yeah.
car cost me $6,000.
Right.
And I paid it off because I didn't have the money, so I paid it off in payments.
Right.
Matter of fact, if the guy's watching, he knows who he is. And I paid it off. I paid it off in payments, and they had just paved the track and gone to a different size tire.
Right.
I was barely able to scrape up enough money, and I said to him, I said, listen, would I be able to take the car if I give you some money? And yeah, take the car. So I get it to the track, but now I got to buy new tires and new rims. I could only afford one set of tires, one set of rims. I got a flat, and that was it. My race was over. Right? So I got the one tires and one rims, and I'm still paying the car off. And then next year, I go to freshen up the motor, couldn't get it freshened up in time. So I ran the same motor, blew the motor. I spent almost 3 times as much on that motor than I did on the whole car. Because, you know, you go to the engine builder, and he's like, well, you know, we could do this. How much is that?
This is
much.
no good. This is no good.
No, you go there, and he's like, well, if we put a new one of these on there, we could do this and get you an extra. All right, well, how much is that? And you keep adding it in, and it's all a la carte. By the time you're done, you're like, how much is the bill? Thank God he took payments, too.
Yeah.
He's like, boop, 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 boop.
No. But what are you going to do?
But that's what it is. It's racing.
It is. It's racing.
It's how much money you want to put in it.
You know, I was out of my good buddy Fast Al the other night, just talking racing. And we were talking about how you went out, won a race, and that was the night we were checking carburetors.
Yeah.
Well,
Not a good night.
our lead head tech guy comes into me, no problem. And he's holding this modified carburetor. Whose is it? Fast Al. All right, what do we got? He goes, the boosters are no good. Got to DQ them and take the carburetor. That carburetor was expensive.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
So-
another charmer, too.
Yeah. So we bring Al in, and for those who know Fast Al, you know that somebody was not getting out alive.
You're not taking somebody's carburetor. That's
So-
not a cheap
He
proposition.
goes, what's wrong with the carburetor? I had it built by this carburetor guy, blah, 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 blah. So he says, the boosters are no good, Walter says. So he goes, where? Show me. So our tech guy puts his little
Things
doohickey
on
on
there.
it. Boosters are no good. I was, how do I know that tool is right? We go to the dentist right now, get one right out of the package, we know it's right. Same measurement. So the tech guy goes, so we got to take the carburetor. He goes, you're not taking my carburetor. He goes, is the carburetor illegal or the boosters? He goes, well, the boosters, but that's the carburetor. No, the boosters are illegal. The rest of the carburetor is good, right? You checked it, you put your thing in, yeah. Give me the boosters. Now you really can't get them off at this point. Al comes back with a small sledge and a chisel, and he chisels the boosters off the carburetor. Because what he thought, and probably happens more often than not with local racetracks and tech people, is the rule is, the rumor out is you send it to NASCAR, it's illegal. Doesn't happen. Somebody keeps the part. It's used for somebody else or sold. And Al was going to make sure nobody got to use that carburetor. And we were talking about it just the other night. And it's so true. You get caught, and like you say, you're pushing the envelope. Was the envelope pushed that night with that carburetor? I don't know. Did his carburetor builder push the envelope? Most definitely.
Probably.
Just
They got different levels. Level 1, level 2,
Exactly.
level 3, level 4, level 5.
Exactly.
And how much do you want to pay? This carburetor, you can have a level 1 in that, a level 2, level 3.
Yep.
Now, if we do this and put this little notch on the bottom over here, you get an extra 25 horsepower.
Yeah.
But that's an extra $400.
Exactly.
All right, so do that.
Speed is money.
That's it.
Speed is money. So, it's a shame that Bert was caught putting stuff in his tires to make them grip better and last longer and jump higher, like a PF Flyer sneaker. I don't know exactly what he did, but he did, like I said, take full ownership. He didn't sit there and say, oh, the lab was wrong. I didn't do anything to the tire. The officials don't know, because that's the first thing that people say.
No, you got to say, I drove over something on the track.
Yeah, exactly. It was the guy that I passed.
I picked up some stuff.
Yeah, it was in the marbles, and I picked it. Nope, but I find him to be that way. Hey, you got me. You got me. And, it's a shame. Congratulations to Andy Seiss, who won the race. And, if you're going to come in second and be declared the winner a week later, okay.
Okay, take
It's
it.
a win in the book.
Take what you got.
It's a win in the book. So I'm sure Bert Myers will rebound from this. He's had longtime sponsors, and I'm sure his sponsors are not going to bail out on him.
Nike's pulling out?
He didn't kneel. No. He probably kneeled to ask for forgiveness, because that's the type of guy he is. So it is what it is. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We have some other NASCAR news to talk about coming out of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Series when we come back.
Hey, it's Todd Merkel from Merkel Racing Engines on Long Island. Joe, Chuck, congratulations on your 400th episode of 5 Off, 5 On.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian. We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8 Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV network.
Welcome back. NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. When you look back on the tour, you look back and there's owners that made a dent, made a mark on the series over their time. Bob Garbarino with all his wins and championships. The Bowlers with the Old Blue. The car didn't always look pretty, but it was always up front. You know, the Caheelys when they had Tony Hoshman driving for them. You know, the list goes on and on and on of some of the guys. But there's one gentleman who I knew on a personal level, Mike Smeriglio, the third, retiring as a car owner after 4 championships and numerous wins. He was Doug Colby's car owner with his championships, Todd Zegedy's owner with his championships. Always came with a immaculate equipment. Phil Moran was his longtime crew chief, and that's all he did was crew chief for Mike Smeriglio. That was his job. He owns an accounting firm, for business accounting. It's family time. You know, as an accountant, you know, you countless hours, you know, running an accounting firm, and it's not like it's him and the secretary. It's a firm. It's a big place.
Yeah.
And racing takes a lot out of you, not only financially, but you work in a race schedule that just goes. It seems like it's endless. You just raced a weekend, you're gone 3-4 days, and then you're in the shop.
Well, it's a labor of love. There's no doubt about
Absolutely.
that. Absolutely.
You know, absolutely.
Definitely a labor of love. I mean, because there's no way you can do that. I mean, everybody's got some other, you know, if you will, you know, a side hustle, and everybody's doing their thing there. You know, they got something that's bringing money in to go racing because, you know, it's really hard. I mean, Burt Myers is one of the few that can make a living out of the deal. And it's tough.
You know, and
it's tough. Those days are, you know, pretty much over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Burt is lucky in a sense that his wife has a very, very good job in a banking industry, and what she makes affords him the opportunity to go racing.
Right.
And like I said,
and even if he breaks even, she's paying the bills at home. So
exactly. And you know, he has some good sponsors, and he has some good corporate sponsors. Unfortunately, and I don't mean this in a bad way when you talk about Burt Myers, he's not in the position to move up to the top 3. That kind of, I'm going to say that parade passed him by. But
well, if you're not 16, you're not playing video games. You're not going anywhere.
But you know, MS3 Racing,
you can always buy a ride.
Yeah, MS3 Racing is. I always had nice conversations with Mike. They weren't always racing. Sometimes they were business related, but you know, he would sit and take the time. You know, and like I said, he ranks right up there with the Caheelys, Bob Garbarino, the Bowlers. There's a handful of owners that have been with the modified series for a long, long time, and I'm not sure how many years. I know it's more than, I'm gonna say 15, 16, because he was there when I was there, and I was there in 2002, and I left in 13, and he's still there up until this season. I mean, he has nothing left to prove. What'll happen with all his equipment and stuff, I'm sure somebody will end up with it. A lot of people, we're going to lose another car in the tour. I don't believe that. I believe that this equipment is going to be sold at whoever gets all of this stuff, it's going to be a good deal for them. And you're not buying junk. You're buying top-notch equipment. And
it's not an easy series to run in. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of money. And
you know, and when it was a true regional series, when they stayed in New England, you know, and they came to to Long Island 2 or 3 times a year, and maybe go upstate New York for a couple of races when they went up to Holland. You know, it kind of changed in the last 10 years, because then they started going to Martinsville and to Richmond and to Adirondack Speedway, which is almost in Pittsburgh, and Mansfield, Ohio, which was a hike. and worked their way down in Bristol, it kind of lost its regional identity. It really did.
They're looking to expand a little bit and get some more of a
Absolutely.
fan base, and I
You
get
know,
all of that.
And the late Phil Kerr, he wanted that exposure. He wanted that, the president of sports, motorsports marketing at Whelen Engineering. He wanted that series to succeed. He wanted that series to get the exposure it deserves. And, and when you have guys like Mike Smeriglio, he was one of those guys who was right there with them. Hey, let's do this. Let's get some recognition. How many of the longtime owners are left in that? I mean, and the Boulders still field the car, but Bob Garbarino's gone. The Caheelys are gone with all their championships. I know Eddie and Connie Partridge were involved for a while with Ryan Preece, and they would field the car if Ryan Preece was going to run, and they're really not involved anymore with that. So, you look at some of these car owners. Some have gone on to other series because they're less expensive to run. Eric Anderson with the Flamingo team, he's packed it in as well. He packed it in right after the season ended. He announced with Long Island's own Timmy Solomino, now rideless.
You think about it, and this brings up a good point, because we've actually been in discussion with several different series, not necessarily NASCAR sanctioned series, but different series. In the off season, and because most everybody that's watching here, they're they're the nuts and bolts guys.
Yeah.
They're team owners, they're car owners, they're racers, they're crew chiefs. They're the people behind the scenes that are turning the wrenches. They're the officials. They're the track owners. We don't have a lot of fence grabbers that watch, but we welcome that as well. A lot of fans that watch, but most everybody is behind the scenes in racing somehow or another. So we have open wheel divisions, we have NASCAR divisions, non-NASCAR divisions. So what we're going to do for the off season is we're going to highlight and look at some of the other divisions that are out there, some of the other series that are out there that you could possibly race in. Now, ultimately, think about it. If you're a businessman and you're a race car driver, does it really matter whether you're racing in NASCAR or not? I mean, if you're racing in a series, in some series somewhere, but you're having a blast doing it, maybe you're making a couple of dollars, maybe the revenue coming in is helping you pay for your racing. Really think about it. If you were going to race in the Whelen modified division, and it cost you $100,000 to do that, even if you were making some good money and finishing and making some bucks back. Or you could race the same amount of races, same quality racing in a different series, and it cost you $50,000 to do it.
Right.
Wouldn't the 50 be better? I would think. You're losing less money, if you will.
Money.
Now, if you break even, then kudos.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of people that can do that. Now, me at the local track, the last bunch of years that I raced, I actually made money racing, and that included me having a, $58,000 a year rent bill for my shop, because, of course, I had to have one of the biggest shops. Why not? I am Chuck, after all.
That was a nice place.
That was a nice place. So, it's one of those things, So if you can make that happen, that's great. But how many people can make that happen?
No, they're very few.
I just happened to fall into it because I knew people and it happened.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's, few and far between.
It is. And no matter what level of racing that you're in, it's primarily a lose-lose. If you have fun, great. But you're not walking out of there with a wheelbarrow full of cash.
Well, you think about it, how many people go out to play golf and come back, hey, I just made $400.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. It's a hobby. Ultimately, that's what most of us are in it for.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we would all love to make money and be the next biggest thing and win championships and so forth and so on, but it's a hobby for the most part.
It is, and trying to get sponsors at any level is not easy. And when you do get a sponsor, you got to do what you got to do to keep them, and to keep them coming back. And I look at drivers at the local racetracks, wherever they may be, And wait, last year he had Acme Corp. Acme Corp's not there, but now he has XYZ company. Wonder what happened to Acme Corp. And you know, you fight tooth and nail to get a sponsor, and it's the littlest thing that you'll lose a sponsor for.
Well, we talked about that because, you know, if you're, going to be a marketing buzzsaw and wind up with a whole bunch of sponsors on your car, then you also have to be a marketing buzzsaw,
Right.
More than being a race car driver.
Right.
You know, you got to spend a lot of time, with that relationship and making sure that they get a return on their investment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ultimately, think about it. If you had a car with no sponsors on it at all, and it cost you the same amount of money to race with all the sponsors, you'd be able to focus all your energy on the racing.
Right.
You know, I mean, there are series. Matter of fact, I had a talk with a series director, and one of the things that he had was he had years ago had raced with the SCCA. Great series, and they do a lot of different things. But he went there. He didn't qualify. He got to run a consi. It was over, and he went home. So he towed all the way there. It took him 5 times, 6 times longer to get there and do what he had to do, to run a consi, to not qualify, for him to go home.
Right.
So he started his own series and said, you know what, we're not going to do that. You come here Labor Day weekend, it's a 3-day weekend, you will race Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. By the time you're done, your butt hurts from racing because you've been in that seat so long.
Yep. See?
I mean, you probably come up with somewhere around 10 to 12 hours of seat time.
Wow.
You can't get 10 to 12 hours of seat time in a whole season at some of these local tracks.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you want to race and you want to have fun, that's it.
That's the place to
I
be.
mean, they would finish what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, they'd get out of the car, they'd get a drink, they got a 5-minute off, back in the car because you're back on the track.
Right.
You're racing most of that time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things like some people don't understand, that some people just go racing because they want to have a good time.
That's it.
It's not
It's a
about
hobby.
winning, and people are like, "What do you mean it's not about winning? I'm not going to win if I'm not competitive. I'm not." No, there's some people. I watched a guy that raced here on Long Island for like forever, Scott Seppi. It took him years and years and years to win a feature. But he was probably one of the only guys that could drive off the track, finishing 24th, smiling.
And have a blast.
Because he towed an hour and a half from South Ozone Park to Riverhead Raceway.
Wow.
And no crew, no nothing. If he got a flat, he got out, jacked it up.
Changed it himself.
Changed it himself. He got back out. If the gate was closed, he'd sit there, wait for another caution. Still, race was over. Drive off the racetrack.
Well, see, that's it. I mean, here, again, talking about another series, but there's a series where they spec a set of tires that last you the whole season. And when I tell you they're racing 10, 12 hours in a weekend, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And what they do is, you don't have to worry about trying to squeeze in lunch or a barbecue, because what do?
The feed.
Lunchtime, track shuts down for an hour. So you go, you have your lunch, you do your thing. At the end, they have a big barbecue every night anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's more of, hey, we're going out, we're having a blast here. Now, is it $300 to get in? Yeah, your entry fee's $300. It costs you to be part of the club, the whole deal. They rent out some really big tracks.
Right.
I mean, awesome big tracks. Yeah. And you know what? But for $300, your whole crew comes in.
Right.
It's not 35, 55, whatever it is, I don't know. A head at a track that costs you probably $300 to get your whole crew in anyway, one night, and you go out and you get, what, 60 minutes worth of racing at the end of the day?
You have 10 laps of practice, and you have a 10-lap qualifying race.
And you're done, you know what I mean? So
20-lap feature.
it's, they're out there, and there's a lot of these different, whatever you want to do, open wheel, you want to do stock cars, you want to do bigger tracks, you want to do smaller tracks. They're out there. There's people that rent these tracks, and they do them. And those are some of the people we're going to be talking about in the off season. So.
Sure. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Whelen Modified Tour, their upcoming schedule in 2020, and social media when we come back.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey guys, this is Pastor Scott, track chaplain for Riverhead Raceway, and I'm here to give you a thumbs up for the 400th episode of the 5-off-5 Racing Show. Congratulations guys, keep up the good work, God bless, light the tires, light the fires.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther. And I'm Commander B. Hawkins. And I'm Mert Willie. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming You Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, welcome back.
Oh, just a note on that last thing. If you happen to have a race series or know of somebody who runs a race series and they want to get involved in that, just have them PM us because we're looking for a lot of different race series that want to be involved in the off season. Give you guys some options on maybe you want to go racing somewhere else.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good.
Good partnership.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the NASCAR Wheeler Modified Tour, I belong to some of the social media pages.
Do you?
You know?
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I wouldn't expect that.
And yeah, so usually I mind my own business.
Usually. See,
Usually.
There's always a catch word there.
But in this situation, I did mind my own business. But
then you didn't.
Because we're gonna talk about it here a little bit. And if anybody has any comments about it, feel free. NASCAR Wheeler Modified Tour. They want a female driver. They had Renee Dupree for a while. She did okay. You know, she made the shows back when it was tough to make the shows. Mm-hmm. And now the social media is tearing up Melissa Fifield. And she's a girl. Came on the Modified Tour series. She got in when it was everybody who showed up made the races. Now, if she would have got in 5 years sooner, she would have went home probably every race. She's been on the Modified Series for 6 seasons. She's had 88 starts. Her average start is 27.4. They start 28.
Oh.
Her average finish is 25th.
Is it equipment?
Depends on who you ask. And in looking at her stats, and I'm not a stat guy per se, because they don't always give you the big picture. As one of my admins at UPS once said to me, figures lie and liars figure. So, but I've watched her as many others have as well. I know people who I've talked to that she has a pretty good motor. She has a nice setup, nice chassis, the crew's knowledgeable. And in most cases, she's being lapped by lap 5 or 6.
Wow.
Social media is tearing her up. And I'm not saying I'm a fan of Melissa Fifield. I'm not saying I dislike Melissa Fifield. In my opinion, she's a race car driver. I don't play that sexuality thing. She's a race car driver. And I hate when they say, oh, the first female race car driver, the first African-American female race car driver. I don't like that. You put on a suit and a helmet and strap in, you're a race car driver.
Right, absolutely.
They're not helping her by bashing her on social media. I mean, let's talk about this. You're involved with the fire department. If there was a fire department social media site and said, Chuck's the worst, Chuck's this, Chuck should quit, Chuck, do us a favor, get out of the fire business. Why don't you start fires? You know, something like. When you go to the firehouse.
You've been looking at my social media again?
Yeah. When you would go into your firehouse, you would be like, I don't want to be here. Nobody likes me. Nobody. You know.
Well, that's why you don't become chief. Because right now, some of the people like you.
Yeah.
Once you're chief, nobody likes you.
Nobody likes you. So, what are they doing to this poor girl? I mean, is it partially, I'm going to say this, is it partially NASCAR's fault?
Well, why don't they like her? Because she's running in the back, she's a menace.
She's a menace. She's a menace. I shouldn't say that. She's not a menace. What she is.
Hey, I've been called a menace.
I know.
You know, there used to be a thing at the track where, was it the last 5 cars or something? If they weren't running good, the officials could say, you're not running.
Right. That's right.
If you weren't handling, you're not running.
Yeah.
And you felt bad, but, you know.
Well, NASCAR,
you try to figure out what you're doing wrong. It's not like you're not figuring out what you're doing wrong. We spent more hours under that car. I made little miniature cars that we messed with. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
We tried. What do? You do the best you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have the money.
Nope.
Sometimes you don't have the facilities.
There's no shortage of money here. And I blame NASCAR. And I'm going to say why. And it may be.
I knew it had to be their fault.
Maybe it's personal. But I remember, and there's a person watching right now who knows what I'm about to say, involved with a team that I was involved with right after I left NASCAR. And I did everything I was supposed to do. I filled out all my paperwork on all this, and this. And I turned it in to go racing a tour mod. And I was denied because I didn't have enough open wheel experience. And they told me if I was going into the K&N series, they'd probably let me race. So I remember saying to them, I didn't just get out of bed one day and say I want to go modified tour racing. I went to Thompson Motorsports Park, I rented the place out, I got a car from Kenny Bouchard, and turned laps until my butt hurt. I think I'm ready. They kept telling me no. They kept me, well, if you do this, okay, I do that. If now you need to do this, you know what, you should run an SK car. I don't have an SK car. I'm turning laps at Thompson 3 seconds faster than Melissa Fifield. 3 seconds. So behind closed doors, I said, can somebody explain to me here how she got approved and I didn't? I said, well, she ran the other modified series. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. So I look up all the finishes and all the did not qualify for that series. And I went back 4 years. Unless she got married and she changed her first name, she wasn't on there. So now I go back for another meeting. She's 2 to 3 seconds off the pace. She's gonna hurt somebody or herself. Why don't we do something as NASCAR? Joe, we're not here talking about her, we're talking about you. Being I was behind the scenes for so long, it's because they needed a female. Now, I'm not knocking Melissa Fifield. I don't know if she needs to rent the racetracks because practicing your race car in practice is not the place you find your marks and hit your marks and hit your marks and hit your marks and where you got to lift, where you got to brake, where you got to roll through the corners. you're not going to learn that with cars all around you, and you're doing this. And you're going into the corners 10 feet later than everybody else, and you're not getting on it. And when you do try to go with somebody, you push it so far up into the fence. You know, somebody in NASCAR should get with this team and find them practice time somewhere. Even these keyboard cowboys, instead of bashing this girl, they need to help this girl.
You know, I was thinking that. I mean, if you had somebody like the Big Tuna, the Big Kahuna, who's like the top crew chief, they should connect.
Yeah.
You know, you take a great driver and put a crew chief with him, he's going to be a great driver, right?
Right.
Yeah, you take a good crew chief and you put it with somebody who might not be a good driver and give them a good equipment and a good car. That would be something to put on your resume.
I'm thinking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I took this driver who couldn't do nothing, and now look at him.
Yep. Oh, well. I wish her well. I really do. I don't want to see any, I just hate keyboard cowboys. Anyway, real quick, before we close up, the NASCAR Whelen modified schedule came out. 17 shows, so that's a good thing. What do we got left? Like 1, 2? None. We're out of time.
Oh.
All right.
We're getting a shake.
We're getting we're on overtime pay up. We'll talk about that schedule next week. How's that?
Okay.
All right.
We can do that.
We're getting, this is what we're getting. Not even a smiley. Sometimes you get.
We're just getting at the top of the head and the eyes.
Yeah. Sometimes
what
you
we got.
get less than 1 minute. Oh, well. Well,
one quick.
One
but,
quick.
Hey,
anyway.
it's been a long race season, and, it's going to be a long winter, I'm sure, for
Long
everybody
winter.
while they're getting their equipment together.
Yeah.
So.
We have a lot of stuff in the can for the off-season stuff that we're going to be airing. So, like always, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules to watch, and to thank those people who watch it during the week on demand, free.
Absolutely, and on replay, we get a lot of that too. So
All right.
that's we appreciate it.
So,
and we got to say that out of the streaming, the race shows that stream, we are probably right up there.
Right up there.
Because I'm seeing, we're 4 and 5 times more viewers than most of them.
Yeah. So, which is a good thing.
Yep.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Wherever your endeavors bring you this week, please be safe. Please be careful. Give somebody a hug. Tell them you love them. We'll see you all next week. Good night,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Good night.